Fair warning, this video is going to be unscripted. I cannot be bothered to make a script for this video, but I will say, trigger warning for hospitalization, near-death experience, and just terrible medical practices. And possible talk of suicidal ideation. I don't know if I'm gonna go that deep into that topic, but fair warning. Oh boy, this video was supposed to be made forever ago, but I got sidetracked with the ghost video, and of course, my life is just always go, go, go. I can't have a moment of peace. So, at the time I'm recording this, it is September 1st, and September is a bit of a turbulent month for me. In 2019, I believe, my father passed away, right at the beginning of September. That was a time. And then, I'm looking at the calendar and I'm trying to figure out when exactly this happened. Hold on. I'm having a bit of a hard time trying to pinpoint exactly when this happened. Going back in Discord messages, it definitely seems to be around the 21st when my life started to fall apart. You know what? I'm not gonna bother with dates. My memory is very foggy when it comes to exactly what date, what happened that day, and all that, so I'll just start with, it was a late September evening. I was at my shift at a sushi restaurant that I was working at. I was a hostess. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a hostess at a restaurant is. I'm not gonna bother explaining. I don't really recall it being super busy that night, but I remember that I took a very quick bathroom break. And as I got to the bathroom, I noticed a sign on the door saying that the door was broken, so be careful. And so, I thought nothing of it. I go and do my business, and then as I'm rushing out of the bathroom to get back to my station, I hit the door that was stuck open. I hit the area between the neck and the shoulder. I don't know what part of that body is. I hit it really hard, and I walk out of the bathroom like normal. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I bump into things all the time, so I'm not gonna, worry too much. And that, my friends, is probably one of the top 10, if not top 5, worst mistakes I have ever done in my life. Everything was not fine. I can't remember if it was the next day or one day later. I had noticed something was very wrong with my body. I had noticed that my left hand was significantly slower than my right hand while I was, typing on my phone, and I thought, that's kind of weird. And me being in denial and terrified of my health, I just tried to ignore it, and I went about my day. Went to my shift, and while I was there, I had noticed my hand was very weak. I would try to grasp a glass while helping clean up the tables, and I noticed that the glass was slipping, and if I wasn't careful, it would have fallen and shattered. And of course, I realized this isn't normal. Something's very wrong here, but my dumbass fucking ignored it. The next morning, at 4 a.m, I wake up to go to the bathroom and realize that my left hand was not moving. I was struggling so hard to put it into a fist. It was moving super slowly. I could still kind of control it, but it wasn't, responsive as it should be. So I go to my normal physician doctor, and the woman, of course, she looks at me and she's like, this is kind of weird. She's like, maybe this is just a pinched nerve, because I told her about how I hit the door. This is probably just a pinched nerve. You'll be fine. And I was like, do you think this is a stroke? I'm basically paralyzed on one side. And she was like, no, you're too young to be a stroke victim. It happens to people who are older. And I'm like, okay, for a moment, I believed her. I calmed down for a little while, and I was like, everything will be okay. And if you can see the length of this video, yeah, everything was not okay. I'm skipping ahead a little bit because that situation that I just told you happened to me 3 separate fucking times. I got turned away from medical quote-unquote professionals saying that I'm too young to have a stroke. It's something else. There's no way that this person is having a stroke. And meanwhile, as that happens, I'm getting worse. The left side of my face starts to droop. My speech starts to slur. I'm sleeping a lot more than usual. My hand gets worse, along with the arm, and finally, my leg starts to give out, to a point where I couldn't even walk. I needed my mother to help me walk around the house, and I would fall anyway. And going back looking at the Discord messages, right around this time, I was so far gone. My messages were so unreadable. I don't know how Sarah managed to decipher what I was saying, until finally, one morning, I was sitting at the dinner table eating breakfast, or trying to eat breakfast, and I remember asking my mom, "Where's my phone? I don't see it." And it was right under me, right under my nose, and I couldn't see it. That, funnily enough, was the final red flag. I finally begged my mom to call an ambulance. Please, take me to this very specific hospital that I wanted to go to. Please. I'm like getting worse each passing second. I can't take it anymore. I need to go to a hospital. And the one hospital we went to fucking turned me away. So finally, my mother calls the ambulance. They come in about 5 minutes, maybe less. And this is where my memory starts to get really fuzzy, because I don't remember that much. Like I said, my brain was so far gone. On the ride to the hospital, the driver and the paramedics were talking to me, trying to get information, what's going on here. And I was telling them, like, my left hand stopped working, and then my face started drooping, and now I can't walk. And immediately, without a doctor, they were like, "Yeah, you're having a stroke. We gotta get you to the hospital. Fast." My first ever ambulance ride. I was deteriorating fast. That was interesting. By the way, I just want to say, do you have any idea how low-key embarrassing it is to be on a stretcher, being wheeled into an ambulance, and your neighbors watching it happen? Like, she's a nice lady. She was saying she loves me and she hopes that, I get better. And I appreciate it. It's just, do you have any idea how embarrassing that is? In broad daylight, too. I finally get to the hospital. I'm in the ER, or I'm in a stretcher, in a dark room. My mom was there. My brother was also there. And a doctor comes in and asks me a few questions. They asked me to push on their hand with my left hand and I think my leg. Immediately they're like, "She had a stroke." Sorry, I don't mean to cry, but reliving this is not fun. So excuse me while my tone changes throughout this video. It's been a week. Okay, it's been about a week or so since I last touched this audio file, and I don't think I can finish the story because I end up going into a very heavy dissociative state, and I don't think that's a good thing, or I'll start crying, and that's not something I like. I hate crying, so I'm just gonna do like a rapid fire version of it, I guess. So I was admitted into the hospital, found out I had a stroke. The reason why it happened is because I dissected a carotid artery in my neck or shoulder area, and that's what caused the stroke, apparently. Didn't even know that could happen. And then I was in the hospital for, I want to say like a week, 2 weeks, I don't remember exactly, but I eventually went into the rehab hospital, the inpatient rehab hospital, where I could start occupational therapy and physical therapy. The only notable thing I could say there is I had a really bad mental breakdown or emotional breakdown, where, I cried a lot and whatnot. I'm not gonna cry again, fuck you. Every single day in that rehab hospital, I cried alone in my room, and I wanted to die. It was hard, that's all I can really say. But after that breakdown, I moved on with my life, but it was more like, I needed that breakdown, that meltdown, and then I focused on getting better. I did all the exercises, the physical and occupational therapist, instructed me to do and whatnot. The food was terrible. I lost so much weight while I was at the hospital and the rehab, so. What sucked the most was I was the youngest person there. And I remember a nurse that would wheel me around because I wasn't allowed to walk by myself. Even with the device, even with like the help of a cane or whatever. So I had to be wheeled everywhere. The lady, she would tell me, "You're too young to be here." And I know she didn't mean that in a malicious way, but it was still like, okay, lady, what do you want me to do about it? So that sucked. But now I'm here a year later, and then October 30th, I was finally released from the rehab hospital, and I could go home. And the first thing I had to eat was a burger, my favorite food. And I was so happy to be home. They had to rearrange my room to make it more easily accessible for me. So that was interesting. And totally not annoying, because now I don't know where anything is, and I still don't, even a year later. But not even a month after that, after me coming home and after this entire traumatic experience happened, something else happened that I really don't want to get into because, well, to be fair, it's none of y'all's business. But, the people who do know, and yeah, it sucked. It's like, damn, man, can't catch a break. But, I guess I could say that during this whole ordeal, I learned who my real friends were. And my biggest supporter was, or is, Queen Serafina. And I can't thank her enough for that. But nowadays, I've been taking things day by day, going to therapy and whatnot. Fighting with SSI to at least get me a little bit of money while I recover, and eventually, hopefully someday, I'll go back to work, because I really do miss having a job. But obviously I can't work in the state. I can't stand for a really long time. I can't stand for long hours like I used to, and I can't walk a whole lot without getting really tired, and that's dangerous because when I'm tired, I lose balance, I get real wobbly, and the last thing I want is to fall and hurt myself, so. And obviously my left hand doesn't work, which sucks. You don't realize how much you do and need with both hands until you lose them. So. And I keep getting told, by, therapists and whatnot, doctors, that it is still possible for my left hand to come back, but it's gonna take years, but it will come back. Eventually, I hope. I'm not sure what else to say, but hopefully by the time this uploads, this will be 1 year ago today. I was admitted into the hospital because I nearly died from a stroke. But I'm alive somehow. But I'm alive somehow, and I'm gonna make it everyone else's problem.